Welcome back, everybody. It's the third installment of the National Title Contender Series in college football for 2025. I've already done Penn State and Texas. Now it is Clemson's turn. Yes, we're going in order. Well, not in order, but one per conference before we dive into the other multiple teams that could win from each conference going forward. I don't think a group of five is going to be one of those. Let me know your national title contenders and who should be next on the list for the Big 12. Let me know. Because after that, then it's hog wild. I will take your comments and your suggestions, and then maybe dive into some of those teams that you guys say could be a national title contender. But hey, we got Clemson right here and now. Happy Friday, everybody out there. TGIF. Been a long week for me, but hey, that's all right. Got good music, got you guys. And we're talking Clemson football, all right? They went 10-3 in the regular season last year. And I say regular season, I include the conference championship game as part of the regular season now for each team that wins that or plays in that, because the playoff is totally different now. You have 12 teams now that make the playoffs, so the postseason is mighty different. They were 10-4 after losing to Texas in the first round of the playoff, but they beat SMU in the ACC title, and that is probably their only top opponent that they beat. They were destroyed by Georgia in week 1. They lost to Louisville at home. They lost to South Carolina at home and lost to Texas. So can Dabo, Klubnik, and others, which I will start to list, be able to improve and win those games this time around this season? Obviously, I say yes, because I think they are a national title contender. We're starting with quarterback position here for Clemson. Cade Klubnik, a senior, is back. Had a breakthrough season again last year. Keeps improving every year under Garrett Riley. The improvement is clear. He has been a high-volume passer over the past 2 seasons with 454 attempts. 454 attempts, 486 pass attempts over the last 2 seasons. So last year he was 63% and a 7.5 average per completion. Both of those are not great, but he had improved on yards. He had 3,639 yards last season, 36 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions. So there was improvement there. Also, last year he had a jump in running the ball at quarterback. He had 119 carries for 463 yards, a 3.9 average, and he had 7 rushing touchdowns. So he is a weapon in himself. But what weapons are coming back with some experience to help him out? Well, first, Clemson, this season, it starts with offensive line, because they are all seniors or grads, save one player who was a junior. But at left tackle, looks like it's going to be Tristan Lay, graduate, 6'6", 315 pounds. He played in 32 games and had 23 starts now already in his career. Harris Sewell gets left guard, a junior, the junior that I was speaking of. Looks like it's going to be him. 6'4", 310 pounds. He played in 22 games, and he had 8 starts so far. He is the youngster of this line. It's incredible. Center, Ryan Linthicum, graduate, 3 of these players are graduates. One is a senior, one is a junior. Upperclassmen offensive lines make me salivate. That tells me that you'll be able to do anything else that you want to do offensively if these guys can gel. And they've already been gelling. So at center, 6'3", 305 pounds is Ryan Linthicum. He played in 23 games with 14 starts so far in his career for Clemson. At right guard, Walker Parks is a graduate, 6'5", 305 pounds. He played in 53 games with 42 starts, and I have a question mark. How is he back? And then I had to research. Yes, it looks like he is still on the roster. At right tackle, Blake Miller, a senior, 6'6", 315 pounds, has played in 41 games and has started every single one of them. So this offensive line is going to be nasty and will absolutely help the youngsters at running back and wide receiver get time and spacing in this offense. Now let's talk about those outside weapons, or we're going to start with the outside weapons. Then we'll work to the running backs here. But wide receiver TJ Morris, 6'3", 200 pounds. As a freshman last year, he had a great season. 45 catches for 651 yards, a 14.5 average per completion, 5 touchdowns. Now he is a sophomore with an even better Cade Klubnik and better offensive line. Bryant Westcott Jr. at wide receiver is a sophomore, 6'2", and 180 pounds. He had 41 catches for 708 yards, a 17.3 average, 5 touchdowns, as a freshman as well last season. So the youngsters need to keep continuing their dominance. Antonio Williams is now a senior at wide receiver, 5'11", 190, the guy in the middle. 75 catches, 904 yards, 12.1 average per reception. He had 11 receiving touchdowns, so they are weapons for Cade Klubnik behind the offensive line. Let's talk about what else is going to thrive behind that offensive line. Running back is a little bit more uncertain for me for Clemson for 2025, but the talent is there. OurLads.com, who did their depth chart for every team, has Gideon Davidson as the starter as a freshman. He is 5'11", 185 pounds. He was the 121st player nationally in recruiting and the 5th running back in recruiting. He was out of the state of Virginia, so they expect big things out of this young guy. So do I, behind the line and the weapons and everything that he has around him. Now, Keith Adams Jr. is going to be a junior. He's 5'9", 215 pounds. He actually has the stats going into next season. 30 carries after Maffa left, but 122 yards last season, a 4.1 average, and 1 touchdown. So I expect that behind the offensive line, Clemson will be able to run, which is going to make this offense scary for Garrett Riley and company. But what about the defense? Under new defensive coordinator Tom Allen, a former Indiana head coach at one time that built Indiana to what it is today, a problem in the Big Ten. So he has DJ Parker at defensive end. We're going to start with the line, then we're going to talk about linebackers, and then the secondary. And then we're going to look at the schedule and what all this could produce going up against the people on their schedule. I'll give you that at the end of the video. But TJ Parker, at defensive end is back. He will be a junior. He is 6'3", 265 pounds, 57 tackles last year, 11 sacks, 6 forced fumbles. He recovered 2 fumbles and had a pass breakup. It's probably a batted down pass at the line. Incredible athlete there at defensive end. And then Will Held, at defensive end, comes in from Purdue. He will be a junior next season as well, but at Purdue, 56 tackles, 5 sacks, at 6'6", 265 pounds as well. Defensive tackle Peter Woods is going to be a senior. He is 6'3", 315 pounds. He had 26 tackles and 3 sacks. Of course, there are others on the defensive line, but that is plenty talented and capable of doing just fine on their own. But you know that Clemson is going to have depth and rotational pieces that are still unproven. So we'll figure that out as the season goes on, but I expect that to happen from them. And then the linebackers are off the charts great. You have middle linebacker Way Wood is coming back, senior, 6'3", 235 pounds. He's money. 82 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception, and 5 pass breakups. And then at will, you have Sammy Brown coming back. As a freshman, he had 80 tackles, 5 sacks, and 3 pass breakups. Now he will be a sophomore. He's listed at 6'2", 235 pounds. Now the secondary comes into play. I'm talking just only experience coming back in production. Avion Terrell is your cornerback, one of them. He is 5'11", 180 pounds listed, 58 tackles, 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and 12 pass breakups. Cornerback Ashton Hampton is a sophomore, 6'2", 200 pounds. He had 27 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 5 pass breakups as a freshman last season. So a little bit of youth here, but lots of talent for Clemson and upper experience where you need it the most on the offensive line and some of the defense. But Nickelback comes back. Khalil Barnes, a junior, 6 foot, 195 pounds. He's got 61 tackles, 4 interceptions, and 3 pass breakups from just last season. All these stats basically are just from their previous season. Strong safety, Kylon Griffin, a junior, as 5'11" and 200 pounds. 25 tackles, 1 interception, and 2 pass breakups. So as like every other unit or position, there are others that have waited their turn to step up. If they do, then Clemson will have a great starting talent and some depth that can turn in and give them a shot at the playoff. And then if they make the playoff, of course, they're a contender in my book. So I plan on doing 12 teams. So there's a limited variance here. So how will Clemson make the playoff? Let's look at the schedule, shall we? Their win total coming out early in the offseason was 9.5. And I said no bet. But now I thought they were going to lose at North Carolina because Belichick and the defense and everything. But now after looking through everything, I think you go there and you beat that team. So I'm expecting a 10-2 season here for Clemson this season, which would get them to the ACC championship game, I believe, because there's only one out-of-conference loss, one in-conference loss. So let's just get right into it. LSU at home, August 30th. I think you come out swinging, you win that game. LSU and Brian Kelly have not done great in these openers. Clemson, they lost to Georgia last season, but otherwise pretty good at openers. I expect you to win that game. And then you have Troy at home. I think that is a win at Georgia Tech, who went 7-6 last year. You're a better team. You can go there and win that game as well. Syracuse at home, that is a win. Then you get your first bye before you go to North Carolina, and this is the toss-up game. North Carolina went 6-7 last year, but their defense has to get better. It can only get better, especially now with Bill Belichick at the helm of the program. But I think you win that game as of right now. So these are not my predictions, just how you can make the playoff. At Boston College, they're another middle-of-the-road tough team that always is kind of a giant killer, but I think you win that game as well. And then you have Southern Methodist at home. I think they lost a lot. You retain a lot. You beat them in the ACC title game. It's at home. It's a win for you. All right, Duke at home. That is a win. Florida State at home went 2-10 last year. I don't see how they can rebound and shock the world and beat you in Clemson. That's not going to happen. That is a win. Now, comes down to two teams that you lost to last year at home. Now they are on the road. And one of them is Louisville. Louisville went 9-4 last season. They're going to be another good team, in my opinion, in the ACC, one of them. But you're the best. But Brom and company at Louisville, I can't give anyone an undefeated season unless it's for sure that it's going to happen like Michigan in 2023, where everyone was a senior. We knew what was going to happen. They just won the Big Ten title in 2 previous years. Everyone's back. That's the only time I can give out a undefeated season. So I think you go to Louisville and lose that first game. You have Furman, which is going to be a nice rebound before you play at South Carolina, your rival, to end the season. Out of conference, this one. They went 9-4 last year. I expect them to be a better team, or at least the same as well. So that'll be an interesting, hard-fought battle at the end of the season. But I think you lose. I think you lose that game if the defense really steps up. I know it's always been pretty good, but since Venables, it hasn't been a unit. Can you have a unit versus Lenora Sellers and company at South Carolina at the end of the season? There's always a fluky loss for everybody, but your ACC win total was 59%, or your opponent's win total was 59% from last year. That's average. And then your non-conference in total, when you factor in the non-conference, was 58%. And that's, the Troy. That's Troy. That's South Carolina. That's Furman really dips that for you. But I think it's a manageable schedule for Clemson to make the college football playoff. And then, as I said, once you get there and you have the type of talent that Clemson has, anything is possible, and they are national title contenders in Independent Fanatics view. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who else needs to be the other 9? There's 9 more to go here in the off season. Before my predictions actually will come out in a separate video. And then, we go week by week. The season's almost here. Let's go, baby. Have a great Friday out there, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, comment what you think should be next, or who is a contender. Happy Friday. Have a great night, everybody. But, I'm a Michigan fan, so I have to say, go blue, and Michigan will be a part of this. I think they get a spot.